Hello, fifth grade band students. I hope you had a fantastic weekend, depending on when you're actually doing this assignment. And I hope you're hanging in there. I know the sight reading has been a bit challenging for some of you, so I've changed our very last sight reading assignment for this school year will not have that click on it. I need for you to make sure that when you log into your account that you've already created, you go to the assignments page and you look for week 6 assignment. And then you're going to choose your instrument, which means you're going to choose B flat trumpet or tenor trombone or C flute or B flat soprano clarinet or F horn or percussion. It may be marked as snare drum, but you need to select your instrument in order to have the right music, because I need for you actually to play your instrument, not just do the clapping and the counting like we did for the very first sight reading factory assignment. This assignment is to play page 40, number 1 in the back of your book. And with those of you that did the private lesson, which should be almost all of you, there's only 1 or 2 people that I haven't gotten to the private lessons with. We went over this in the very back of your book on page 40, number 1. Now, Cameron, for you, you're going to be crossing the break, and I asked you to work on some of those grenadilla gorilla jumps, like on page 24 and 25, and that's going to help you cross the break. Trumpets, trombones, we've been working on getting to that high note. For our trombones, it's a high B flat. So we're gonna really try to keep our corners tight and keep that air speed going so that the high notes will speak. Now, it's very important that you do the warm-ups like I asked you to do in our lessons. So you're gonna take that mouthpiece, hold it with your fingers open so you're not using too much pressure. You've already done about 20 of those to get warmed up. And remember, you're going to be tightening your corners. And do a few of those sirens to make the high notes come out a little bit better. Remember, tight corners and faster air is going to help those high notes to speak. And if they don't speak, it's okay. I'll be able to hear if you have the right fingering or the right slide position or not, even if the right note doesn't speak. But I need for you to use your ear. Watch the contour. Remember, what does contour mean? Contour means shape of the notes in the scale. So if the notes go up, the sound should go up also, which means your airspeed and your pressure in your lips has to go as well. Flutes, remember, you're going to be angling your air higher to make the high notes come out and lower to make the low notes come out. And everybody needs to remember to use your tongue. You got to use your tongue. Use your tongue on every note. Percussion, don't use your tongue on your notes. Please don't lick your sticks. Make sure that you are taking care of your instrument. If it needs valve oil, get those valves oiled. Flute, clarinet, make sure you're taking care of your mouthpiece, your reed, and you're cleaning those out. Saxophones, make sure you're taking care of your instruments. Saxophones, you should know whether your instrument is an alto or a tenor saxophone, so make sure that you click that when you're doing your sight reading factory. So on page 40, number 1, at the very top of page 40 is your concert B flat scale. We worked on this some. I need for you to call 615-433-6522, the MJCA Fine Arts number, and play that scale for me this week. It is super important because the last song that we're going to do, which is When the Saints Go Marching In, is going to use that scale. So I need for you guys to be prepped and ready for those notes in that scale. On page 40, number 1 will sound like this. hold that last last note out as long as you can to make it nice and clean. Now, if the high notes don't come out for some reason, I want you to listen. Brass, if you're having a hard time, take your mouthpiece off, do those sirens, woo, and try to hold the high note just on your mouthpiece. So I'm going to play the scale just on my mouthpiece. This is for my brass players. And you can hear the control that I have just in the mouthpiece. And when my control wavers on the mouthpiece, it's going to waver. It's going to sound uneven on the instrument too. So if you want to play the whole thing a little faster, the scale is the part that goes up and down. And then there's something called an arpeggio, which is at the end of the scale. And I want you to play that as well. That's your goal, is to be able to play that scale just like that. If you can do that, call it in for me. If it's a little slower, call it in anyway. Even if there's mistakes, practice it first and then call it in. And I look forward to hearing you guys again. And we're going to produce one more video. You've already called in ulterior motives. We've got one more song, When the Saints Go Marching in your band book. And I'll make another video for that one. See you soon on video. Go Saints.